Here we are once again, which of course must mean it's Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, and it is. It's time for the High Noon Hemp Show. Of course, we're here every Wednesday at noon, live and video on demand. If you want to do Facebook, if you're going that route, it's not as great as the video quality or whatever, but you can if you're a Facebook person. Temptations Beach on Facebook. Of course, the better picture, at least in my opinion, and it always seems to be that way, is on YouTube at the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and of course at Temptations on Twitter. If you do not want to see anything, you just want to hear us, then you can do that as well. Podcast, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, search the High Noon Hemp Show. I am Stoner Jesus. I do lots of stuff on the interwebs. You can search out He is Beach, high above the Hemptations in Sharonville at the Hemp Quarters Beach. How are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
Well, the moon is officially full as of 3 minutes ago. And
Wow.
I feel like, this may be the first full moon show. No, that's not true. We've obviously done a show when there's been a full moon before. Maybe, but I know it's official. We are in a full moon. So that's fun stuff. Fun stuff indeed. It's true. I am beach. I am high above the Hemptations in Sharonville at the what we call the Hemp Quarters / Funatorium. He is Stoner Jesus. He pushes the buttons. He makes sure that you can hear me and see me in all those places that he was just talking about.
Okay.
He is the real show, folks. I'm just a guy spouting a bunch of words. That's all it is. Welcome, everyone, to the High Noon Hemp Show. It is high noon. It is Wednesday. We are here. And there is continuously a lot going on. If you are hungry and it is noon, I hope you already had your hemp lunch because there's going to be a lot of pics of hemp food later. I'm just telling you, get yourself prepared.
Don't watch on empty stomach.
Don't watch on an empty stomach. That's right. But let's jump right into the product spotlight, what I like to call 4 from the store, 1 from my door, and sometimes more. This week we have no more, but got a lot of food in the news. This first one, we just got a fresh batch of hemp jewelry. And so these will be divided up and out into the stores again by Friday. Probably put up here in Sharonville, hopefully within the next day or two, a little bit of handful. But if you forgot to get something for your love for Valentine's Day, and you want to make it up, then maybe a hemp bracelet or a hemp necklace might just do it in a fashion, environmentally friendly / way, which is what we like for sure. This next one again, made locally using the same CBD and hemp oil. I have to check and see. I should know this. I have a bottle right here. If I look, I can't believe that it wouldn't have hemp oil in it. We know that it's CBD, and it is a lot of CBD. Oh yeah, there it is. Organic hemp seed oil. Phew. That's the Seven Mountains CBD lotion. So again, there's 1,200 milligrams in the bottle, which is going to be, super potent where you need it, when you need it, in any area you can rub in for any reason. That's for sure. This next product is we just got a fresh batch. Did I send you the split shot or just this shot? Huh.
I'm not
just
sure.
2 pictures. I guess I just sent you this, unfortunately. I meant to send, actually, just the bath bombs. We actually got a fresh batch of all kinds of Homestead, and these are the new Homestead CBD bath bombs, but we carry the other pick. Visualize in your head the small and large breed pet, the large and small bags of caramels and chocolates, which are probably our biggest Homestead selling product, are the chocolates and the caramels. And then we also have a 200 milligram, and it's a very small bottle. So once again, kind of potent wherever you put it in. Little uh, 200 milligram roll on, and then a 600 milligram cream, all from Homestead. Uh, and again, I feel like I did show the truffles and yeah, last week
Mhm.
possibly for Valentine's Day, which is actually something I left out of the other big picture of all their stuff, which now would be incomplete if I did show it. And so we do have some non CBD stuff from them as well, the truffles and the chocolates that I showed last week for your Valentine's Day. But again, the bath bombs are a good uh, gift for a significant other that may need to relax or be rejuvenated or whatnot. Because you've got the mint one, which would be and should be rejuvenating. Mints are more of a stimulant or rejuvenation. You have lavender, which is a calming. Um, and then I believe the other is yin yang, possibly yin yang, lang yang. Not sure how it's pronounced, but it's something. So yeah, it's interesting because these are more like bath. I don't know what to call them because they're squares. I think they call them bath bombs because they're normally brown or round,
Mhm.
and so that's why it's called a bath bomb. But these are actually rectangular, the flat square. So not rectangular. That would be a square. Um, the rectangular on the edges. I don't know if it. Yeah. Anyway, uh, but they are new to the homestead land. Yes. And then yeah, and so this next one, which you got a sneak peek of just a second ago,
Mhm.
is the Green Springs technology pens. There should be a decent selection of these in every store. When I see a decent selection, the darker ones are um, injection molded, and so they're actually say they have hemp. They can script on that, and so they say hemptations. The lighter ones are 3D printed, and you can't actually you can't script into the 3D printed ones. But they're pretty darn cool either way. And then they have different trims where there's like a chrome, a silver, and a gold trim, depending on what you want there for your Green Springs technology pen. Both, and again, this is the one thing I really like about this is this just shows how yes, you can 3D print with hemp, and you can also use injection molding with hemp composite. Um, we don't call it plastic because plastic has petroleum in it, and that's what we're trying to get rid of. So there you have it. 4 from the store. Now the one from my door, and again, I have shown this multiple times in the past, but I cannot give it enough credit because this is another hemp product that I have used every day, probably. Very rarely. I mean, can't imagine not using it maybe when I was on vacation or something. But this is the bag that I carry every day. I carry probably, I think I weighed it once. I average about 20 pounds worth of stuff in there between my laptops and glasses, and there's a hemp pen on the side and all kinds of stuff. Um, because I've got tools in there. I'm never without tools. One side is actually all my hemp balms, medicalized. It's like my food and medical side on one side, and there's a lot of hemp stuff over there. Um, and then on the other side, there's the big long pockets on the side is tools, screwdriver, cutters, multi-tool, blah, blah, blah. Pockets up top. One pocket has electronics and the zipper packs. The other one is like my CBD stuff and all my consumable stuff goes in there. And then on the sides, like one pocket has all my cleaning, my sanitizer, and alcohol spray, and all that COVID-19 related. And then the other zip, Velcro actually has a pack of my hemp cards that I very rarely give away. But you can see actually, if you look at the top left corner of the bag, those are actually hemp business cards in that particular pocket. Datsura, I believe is how you pronounce it. Datsurra. You can go to their website. They have a full line of bags. They have hemp gis. If you're into martial arts or would just like to have a hemp gi, they make a line of hemp gi that I haven't checked recently, but they were doing like a little line of hemp towels, I believe, and some other. I think they even have a hat now, which I can't believe I don't own. But I haven't been there for a little while. But again, they have a full range of sizes of bags. And again, it all started out because they found out how good antibacterial, antimicrobial hemp fiber was. And if you're going to have a workout bag, especially, something natural, you want it to be antimicrobial, antibacterial. You know, throw your sweaty stuff in there or whatever. And so that's the whole reason that this whole line was started. And they've probably, I'm going to guess that this backpack to me is anywhere between at least 3 and 5 years old. And again, everyday carrying, if you look close enough on the right side, right over from their emblem, you can see where the fabric is starting to, and I want to be clear here, the fabric isn't ripping, it's coming away from the stitching. And this is the most common thing that probably happens with stuff made out of hemp, especially bags and whatnot. It's like the zippers go bad, or again, the fabric comes away from where it is sewn to a zipper. And so it's usually not the actual fabric tearing itself anyway, one way or another. But once again, after 3 to 5 years of daily use, so I mean, I could have carried that bag for at least, we'll call it 1,420 days. I would venture to guess, in all honesty, very easily, that's how many days this bag is put in. And just because it is starting to get a little skewered on the side there, the stuff can't. I don't even think, I have to figure out how it's doing it, but the stuff isn't like, there's no exposure into it yet. So I think it might actually be double layered, and this is the top layer. I don't know. So again, just great bags. If you're looking for a daily bag to carry, I definitely put these guys on the top of the list out there on the old internet, one way or another. So there you have it on the product spotlight. 1 from my door, 4 from the store. It's true. And now,
the soon to be award-winning greatest segment in internet history. This is very important. I say that every week, and I guess people doubt me or whatever because we haven't won the award yet, or whatever it takes to be considered very important on the internet. But I say we're very important, and this is the most important segment of, frankly, a show that's full of important segments. So that's really a high bar to get to. But this is the segment that does it, because there's so many people out there that are nude right now, and they have no idea what to do. They don't know how to dress. They don't know how to get on with their day. They are stuck. They're just waiting for Beach to tell them what to do. And that's why I asked Beach a very important question, so he can tell people how to dress and how to look as cool as Beach does. When I asked the question, what are you wearing, Beach?
And I think it's naked. You're at home naked and you're wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? And how can I get clothes on my nakedness? Nude may be a color description. I don't know. But hemp from head to toe. And it's so funny because I was approached at our Super Barn party. And, someone came up to me and they're like, I have to tell you, Beach, I was trying to convince my daughter that you wore hemp head to toe every day. I was like, yeah, that's true. Hemp head to toe every day. And he's like, and I guess this was the big question that he even had questioned was even your shoes. And I'm like, yeah, I hate to get Aureldo Marcus or whatever her name is on you, but I probably have 50 pairs of hemp shoes. And so it is true. The reason that we ask the question every week, what are you wearing, Beach, is because I wear hemp head to toe every day, except for my sports teams. Again, I have to say, and we haven't mentioned it, and I want to say congratulations to the Bengals for making it to the Super Bowl,
Right.
playing a great football game, and just coming up, just coming up a minute and a half short. And I'm not gonna, I never talk about how bad refs are sometimes, but anyway, it is what it was. And again, I cannot wait to watch this team play in more Super Bowls. That's for sure. But going back to not wearing my sports gear, Bengals related, which wasn't hemp, more cotton or synthetic. It's true, and that's the only alternative I have to hemp clothing is my Kentucky Wildcat basketball stuff and my Bengals gear, maybe a little bit of Reds stuff. But anyway, you're wondering today, what are you wearing, Beach? And blue is something I wear a lot. I swear I'm going to wear green or something next week. I feel like I've been wearing a lot of blue recently too. But on the lid there, you've got the Evo hemp hat, hemp hoodlam jacket, one of my favorites. We've seen a lot on the show. This is a Hemptations University, the Hemp Company t-shirt is what that's printed on. Down below there, I've got my Hemp Inc. button fly jeans. And it is not the big hemp ink that you see in all the hemp news now. I believe this hemp ink, I believe I bought these actually in Amsterdam probably 15 years ago or so, if I remember correctly. And if not, somebody remind me who made jeans in the United States probably 15 years ago using the name Hemp Inc. It may be Paul. I don't know. You can see there in my pocket one of my Green Spring Technology pens, because I am always surrounded by them, whether it's in my pocket or on my back. Up, bringing it all underneath there is my Hemptopia briefs, and then another color of Kind Hemp socks. Been talking about these guys a lot, and I think we're finally going to finalize that order and get some more Kind Hemp socks. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll see the gray ones. But we will be getting some new Kind Hemp socks in soon to be seen on the High Noon Hemp Show, I'm sure. And then walking around in the Rackles. It's supposed to be like a spring day, and these are definitely like spring summer shoes more than anything. But today is supposed to be like 60, in the 60s, probably windy and whatever. But from ice storms to 60-degree stormy weather, is it is what it is, and I like it. I don't mind it. I never complain about the weather. So if you do want to complain, just wait a couple days. A lot of cities say that. It is 100% true in the greater high state area. And what's really funny is we can get 30 miles from here in northern Kentucky, 100% different weather.
Yeah.
And then we can get where I'm sitting right now. And it's really only 20 miles, but there's a huge river that separates us. And I can tell you that it's sometimes, it's like crazy how much that does. Anyway, there you have it, folks. If you're wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know. On the High Noon Hemp Show, here on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. We're still streaming live on Twitter. Is that right?
Indeed. Yeah.
Indeed. So
At Hemptations.
Thank you, Twitter watchers, if you're watching us live. I usually watch the YouTube feed, and so if you want to talk to me through the YouTube feed on the Jedi Hemp channel, please do. And then if you have any questions or any comments and you'd like to pop them up and you're on the Facebook, just do it and we see those. It's like magic. All right, let's get on to some. And I warned you, if you haven't had a snack and you're hungry, I'm telling you, it's coming up here in the news. We'll get through some serious stuff, and then we'll start talking about it. The first serious thing, and this is to me just like I cannot believe, in all honesty, that this business closed up as quickly as they did due to this. But there is a CBD store in Wayne, Pennsylvania, and they closed after they opened because there was an outrage because they're like really super close to a school. And again, I want to tell you, it's a CBD store. Now, I think part of the controversy may have been the fact that they were also selling kratom, or kratom, depending on who you are and how you want to pronounce it, which is something we sell and have sold for a long time and helps a lot of customers. I was in a store in Dayton. I'm in the store maybe for a half an hour, maybe an hour. And in that time period, a customer came in. My employees told him that, hey, there's the guy that's, responsible for the product that you purchase so often. And he came over and he thanked me for carrying the kratom that we carry because it seriously helps his life. Okay. And it's all natural. It helps people get off opioids. We have found and whatever, but again, and so, I think that was part of the controversy in the CBD store that closed. Beautiful store, honestly, beautiful store, big open windows, open front. I really liked them. And it was a single standing store, so it's not connected to the schools. But apparently, it caused so much outrage that they closed.
Wow.
And I'm here to tell you, man, CBD store in Wayne, Pennsylvania, don't close. Don't do it. Don't. Again, it's CBD. Now, what this does, once again, because of the ignorance surrounding this stuff, still, they kowtow to the locals, and I hate to hear it. It's just ridiculous. I'm pretty humble about the things that I've done, but the fact that I stood up to the local government and the boards and the licensing agencies in the state of Ohio for, a year at least, with the threatening of closing and this and that and all the other, to find out that, again, I think the thing that upsets me the most is that there was outrage over a CBD store. I find I'm like, go in, get yourself some CBD, and then come out and see if you're still outraged.
Yeah.
Give them a chance to open, and then see if it might not help you, as a parent or a person or whatever. But obviously, these people have issues. If they have so much outrage over a CBD store opening, again, this is Wayne, Pennsylvania. Beautiful store. It's just heartbreaking, to be honestly, in this day and age, to think that a CBD store had to close because of local outrage, because they were in proximity of a store. We have, one of the nicest parks right across the street from us here. We have a school. Again, we have a school. I'm gonna guess quarter of a mile, an eighth of a mile. It is literally almost right across the street from us in our location in O'Brienville. Of course, we've been there for 25 years. And those kids, they walk by all the time for the last 25 years in the hemp store with the big hemp leaves on the thing. And I don't know. There was never any public outrage that came towards me. I'm sure there might have been some outrage on some parents, after we opened up. And then once again, here's what I think those parents found out then, of course, a little bit differently. Obviously, we didn't have CBD then. What those parents found out then is, again, although we did have, the over 18 products is that the hemp part of it was not a threat. And of course, we carded everybody, and so they, if they tried to bust us for selling to underage kids, they didn't get away with it because we wouldn't do that. And so, I feel like that's the same thing that I would be as a store owner of this place in Wayne, Pennsylvania. Is just okay, fine, just make sure you card everybody for whatever, and then just tell them to shut the heck up. I won't sell to any minors. Get the heck out of my store unless you want to buy something to calm you down because you might need that from me. And I'm going to go about my business. It just breaks my heart that they closed. And I hope that, I don't know. I don't know what to say if they've already closed. Then they've already, I would go right now. If you know anybody that owns that shop, go right now, tell them to open the doors, and it's just whatever. But anyway, what a bummer. What a bummer in this day and age that they would, I can see the outrage a little bit. I can. The ignorant will always get outraged before they are educated. So it made them ignorant to begin with, probably, is the fact that they have all this outrage and they just need to get educated on whatever it is that they may or may not be outraged on. And maybe they are, and maybe they deserve to be outraged. CBD is not one of those. Kratom is not one of those. Even Delta 8, HHC, THCO, Delta 10. To be honest with you, there's zero reason to be outraged. If you want to be concerned about your kid using them, 100% on board with you there. Sure. 100% on board with you there. Not questioning that for 1 minute. But to be outraged and close a store, geez, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. It's stupidity. It's ignorance. And I hate that it happened. And if I would have even known for 1 minute that it was happening, I would have contemplated going up there with my sign and protested the protesters with the outrage, with some big signs, educating them. I don't know, go to the town meeting. I don't know what to do. It's like, oh, people. Anyway, if you're anywhere around Wayne, Pennsylvania, and you support cannabis, which I really think is funny too, and I think that's what scared him, is Pennsylvania is a pretty cannabis-friendly state at this point. The governor is on board with the medical. I think the governor is on board with the legalization. I don't believe that they're not a legal state yet, but I think he's on board with that. I know he's on board with the industrial hemp stuff. And so it's like, again, it's just ignorance. And speaking of ignorance, it goes Indiana with a little bit of ignorance. And again, what I think about, and I think that this, I don't know if this has gotten settled, but Indiana has already tried to ban CBD flower, and I think that got struck down. I'm not positive, but now they're going after Delta 8. And so, we'll see. And again, this is just ignorance on the legislative body because, somebody says, oh, the kids are getting high on this. And, it may have effects, but kids are not getting high off of this. And again, we're not even, prove that it's a danger to the kids to begin with and then go from there. I don't know, but some legislator in Indiana got word, obviously, that this Delta 8 stuff is popular because people really like it. And so, of course, they're going to try to stop it. So I don't know how far this is going to get, but if you're in Indiana and you support Delta 8, you may want to get a hold of your representative, senator or something, and be like, you know what, this is not legal to do anyway. So if you do make it, you make Delta 8, you ban it, then the ban is just going to have to stay in the courts until it's overturned because it's not legal to ban it to begin with. It's, and so anyway, we'll see how far it gets. Okay, now as I promised, I don't have any picks yet, but I am going to start you off with a little bit of um, big name, big name hemp involvement in the foods, but Papa John's. Um, now, before anybody gets too excited out there, it's not going to be the Papa John's down from you. Okay, Papa John's. And this is what I really find funny is that it's not going to be the Papa John's down from you, but Papa John's is going to test a limited edition hemp sticks, or basically garlic breadsticks with hemp seeds sprinkled on them. But it's only going to be in the United Kingdom and Russia. It's like we're going to be going to war with Russia here in a minute, and Papa John's is breaking out the hemp seed garlic sticks in
Hey.
Russia.
Bring the world together.
No love whatsoever. I'm going to have to call Papa John's communist so I can get those hemp sticks here in the United States. I want my American hemp sticks. Damn it. Oh my gosh. But again, it's great because they are using hemp seed. Russia makes sense because there's, I think, a lot of hemp that still gets grown in Russia for whatever reasons. It was kind of funny how they were explicit about the fact that Papa John's is not going to try to start putting CBD or even THC in states where it's legal in their food, that it is an actual hemp seed, which, really to me just means just go, make yourself a little garlic butter. Pretty easy. Garlic, butter, melt it, throw some whole hemp seed in it, and rub it on whatever you want that it would taste good on. And there you have it. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. I wish I had some friends in the UK that I could find out if they're local Papa John's delivers hemp sticks.
Will we have any UK or Russian viewers or listeners?
That's true. Yeah, I don't want to dissuade anybody from Russia who may or may not be watching. I would find it hard to believe that the Russians can actually watch American live streams. But if you can and you're in Russia, man, go find your Papa John's and send me a pic of some hemp sticks. Do it. I am about world relations. Don't go to war with the Ukraine either. Anyway, that's supposed to be today, according to the United States. So, anyway, war is bad, people. War is bad. And don't invade the Ukraine. I know for a fact that they are a huge producer of hemp grain. I'll have to find it, but I sat on a bicycle that was handmade. The whole body was handmade out of hemp that came from the Ukraine. I'm not positive, but I'm almost sure that my bedspread, my hemp bedspread that I have now, my quilt, and because it took 3 months to get here, I believe, and again, the label is not in English, that it was also grown and made in the Ukraine. And so maybe that's what they're fighting about. If it's hemp, come on, Russia. Just get along.
Yeah.
There's plenty for everybody. Plenty of hemp for everybody. Cut it out. Here is a pic of a non-food item, but these are some of the Sanooks. And this was actually part of, and I know I've shown some of the other Sanooks. I have a pair of the real basic slip-on Sanooks that you'll find. These are kind of fancy slip-ons, in my opinion, called the High Bro Light, which I just kind of like that name. I feel like I need a pair of shoes that are called High Bro Lights. I'm wearing my High Bro Lights today. Slip-ons in my feet are often an issue, but I really like these. And the Sanuk hemp stuff is, super affordable for almost everything that they do, too. And so this was just kind of a fun find that I may actually have to invest in and add to the list of hemp shoes, But I don't have a whole lot of slip-ons. And again, I do have a pair of Sanuk slip-ons, but they're the really thin kind of canvas, like beach shoes more than anything. They can get wet, and whatnot. But it's tough to get that really snug fit.
But aren't all of your shoes beach shoes?
It is true that all of my shoes are in fact beach shoes. I may have, or I'm sure I have the largest selection of hemp beach shoes. That being said, because I do feel like I have, if you have more than 50 pairs of hemp shoes in your closet, let me know and I'll go back and recount all the hemp shoes that I have to see actually how many I have. But you may be able to contest what I would probably believe is just yet another world record, hemp world record.
That's right.
That I suppose I need to just go ahead and try to break, which is consecutive days of wearing a different pair of hemp shoes. I currently right now hold the hemp world record for days wearing a different hemp hat and days wearing a different hemp shirt. And I believe I actually finished both of those on the High Noon Hemp Show. But I believe it was, I think it was somewhere in the range of about 160 days on both of those. So I went 160 days wearing a different hemp hat every day, and I went 160 days wearing a different hemp shirt every day. Every day. Different. So you got that going for you if you wanted to shoot for a record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I say do it. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there. I do believe that I'm sure that there are people out there that could break the record. I know of a couple people at least that are out there that their closets, I'm sure, rival my closet as far as the amount of hemp clothing there because they've been in the hemp industries all their lives too. So why wouldn't it? Which is 25 years, some of these people that I still do business with or I know are out there. And so anyway, this is a neat building. It's actually two buildings that are going up. And this is the Studio Dera, capital letters DERA. And they got the go ahead to build these hempcrete and timber community centers and nursery, community center and nursery in East London. All of a sudden, the United Kingdom's man is just blowing up with hemp stuff. Good for them, but it's pretty neat. So I know that both structures, no, at least one structure is going to use hempcrete in the walls, and then the other may be more timber, but some hempcrete, and then they're going to finish the roof off of one with hempcrete, and then finish off the roof on one, I believe, with timber as well. I'm not sure how they're mixing and matching. You can obviously say, I think the building on the top left there looks like it's the timber, more timber, but I do think those walls are also still going to be hempcrete. And again, these are probably going to be public buildings, and so they trust hempcrete construction enough to keep their constituents, their citizens, and of course we saw this in France. France has built a huge community structure, a big sports complex using hempcrete as well. So you can't, and it's happening here in the United States. It hasn't been a whole lot I know there was a community, and it was like, I think like an amphitheater in Colorado, built out of hempcrete. It'd be interesting to check on that because that was probably at least 5-7 years ago that I think that was actually built. At least 5, I'm guessing. And again, that was, my understanding, was probably the first hempcrete public space that was being built. Last time I heard here in Cincinnati, they denied an architect a permit to work with hempcrete, and so, which is just ridiculous because there's houses being built out of it all over the country. And I think that, I don't think you can do the foundation yet because it hasn't been approved for foundations. They say, I think you can't use it solidly as a load bearing wall. Most of it is sprayed in at this point. So they frame in the wall and they spray in the crete, the hempcrete. Now in Europe, they may accept hempcrete to be load bearing, and so. But here in the United States, I know that's still not an issue because it just has not been tested and approved for that, and that's why there's still some controversy probably about using it. Period, is because that's and of course that's probably, I'm guessing, the existing crete companies like lobbying against it. In all honesty, and I know it sounds like it's totally ridiculous that we could have this alternative to concrete, which is again more environmentally friendly, antimicrobial, antibacterial, flame retardant, all these great things, being held up. But again, it's all the existing companies in the construction industry, if you don't know. And this is just something that I've read a billion times, is still seriously controlled by shady dudes and women. I don't want to just exclude the women that are running construction companies, to be honest with you, but but we are always building stuff, and we should always be looking, especially from here on out. I'm not blaming anybody for what may have been used in the past, but I don't understand why in the future it just shouldn't be standard operating procedure to look for the most environmentally friendly way to do it. I for the likes of me, I cannot figure out why any new house in certain areas just aren't built with solar panel roofs. I just don't even. I mean, if you're going to design a house, pay an architect to design your house, spend a bunch of money to build it. Why wouldn't you, from the beginning, just go ahead and solar panel the roof up? I can understand you may be in a place where that's truly not efficient. But we found here in Cincinnati that solar is efficient. The government is trying to buy into solar here in Cincinnati because we do have enough sunny days and enough solar energy to make it work. And so I don't, locally, I feel like every building being built should have a solar roof. Even water collection, filtration, New York City is probably and they still do that. Most of the water in New York City is supplied by rooftop water tanks that collect water naturally. And so, it's just amazing. And what's really funny is a lot of cities, you can't legally do that. Like, you can't legally reuse your gray water. Yeah. In a lot of places anyway. And so we need to move forward with hempcrete everywhere we can, is really what I'm saying. Just one thought here on the High Noon Hemp Show. Oh, here's a nice, delicious pick. I know it's not Taco Tuesday, but it is Hemp Burger Crumble Taco. And again, the original article was about a family who went vegetarian for a week, and for Taco Tuesday, they purchased this is made by Hemp Way Foods, and apparently they're sold at Whole Foods. Now, not every Whole Foods has the same selection, but wherever these people were, they went to their Whole Foods and they bought this Hemp Burger Crumble, basically made from hemp. And again, we're seeing a lot of burger stuff, if not burgers, using hemp. The protein comparability is unbelievable when it comes to actual real meat, as well as a lot of other things that I think you can get out of it, which is kind of the consistency of the feel with the, adding the hemp seed in as a major ingredient. So I'm going to have to go. I haven't been to Whole Foods in a while. Whole Foods has always been hip to the hemp too. The one right down the street from us in O'Brienville is always, they've carried Married Hempster lip balm. They had Hemp Mania bags. I don't know if they did that because we did it, in all honesty, or because a lot of Whole Foods, and I'm sure a lot of Whole Foods carry that. It's available to you as a Whole Food owner. But Whole Foods has always been, from day one, back when we had to sue the DEA because Whole Foods was one of those stores that the DEA was threatening to go in and say that their hemp food products were controlled one substances, part of the Controlled Substance Act. And so, uh, we definitely like to support Whole Foods because of their support for hemp and all its forms and how good it is for the human body and all natural and healthy for humans and the planet is really what I want to say. Here is a pic of what they call bear butter, and it's the ingredients. And so the bear butter, I think, is the finished ingredient in the middle there. And hemp seed is one of the ingredients. Now, I don't know what makes it bear butter, BEAR, not BARE, which almost makes more sense. But you got a little bit of apples, you got some almonds, you get your hemp seed, a couple. I think I saw chai as part of it. But we know that hemp seed makes good nut butter. We like to call it. At least one of the companies I get it from calls it nut butter, which is a great name. And so that's a good dairy alternative. People are looking for all kinds of dairy alternatives, no matter what. And I don't know why it's called bear butter, as in the animal. And maybe it attracts bears. I don't think there was even any honey in it. I mean, how can that be possible? Or salmon, for that matter. This is something that's kind of huge coming out of the UK, in my opinion, and I have all kinds of questions. But the article was titled "Dangerous Rotting Hemp Ropes Force UK Army to Shut All Assault Courses." Okay, so now the first thing that they say in the article is the hemp wasn't rotten, it became untied. Okay, so they make it sound like, okay, that they took these, that they had to go through this because the soldier almost fell because the hemp rope came almost untied. Almost, it was just what I really love too. He almost fell. He didn't fall. He didn't hurt himself. He almost fell because the hemp rope on the training course became untied. Now, okay, not broken. First, okay, and then the article goes on to say that the organic hemp makes it likely to rot when exposed to the elements, and that is 100% not true. It's 100% not true. The fact that hemp was used on all the riggings of all the naval vessels,
yeah,
is because hemp was the one fiber that could hold up to the elements. It becomes stronger when it's wet. Okay? It is long. So I don't know who made this hemp rope, but it's long. Okay, as a fiber. So it does, when it does rot, it would be very unlikely. And now I want to go do an experiment. I want to go fucking hang some hemp. And this was the picture they had. This hemp rope again was like this big, a true cordage from probably old Navy vessels anyway. But it was supposedly new. Okay, so it had just been installed in the last 10 years. Okay, but again, if it's true hemp, true woven hemp, again, it's long, and so I'm not saying it couldn't rot. I'm not saying it wouldn't rot, but it wouldn't rot like short fibers, like cotton. Whereas once it's rotten, there's nothing to keep it together. if hemp starts to rot, it's got all the other fibers, those long fibers, it's going to take before it starts to rot. It's going to take a while to go rot, honestly. I would love to now go do an experiment. We've seen the experiment with the hempcrete and the flame. Now I need to go do a hemp rope experiment where I need to go like hang a certain amount of weight from a big hemp rope and just leave it outside for as long as I can to see how long it hangs.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a good experiment. Um, what I'm really finding, and this is what really irks me, if this is really this whole article picking on these hemp ropes that almost hurt a soldier. One, they had to get rid of like $1 million worth of hemp rope they just ordered. I don't know how much it was on all these training courses all over these training courses, Army military training courses. Because one soldier almost fell because it almost became untied. Okay. And it's the political party's fault that's been in power for the last 10 years. It's just they're not spending enough money on our military, and here's proof. This one soldier almost fell from an untied hemp rope, and all the rotting hemp ropes got to go. Hemp is terrible. Hemp is this awful thing because of a political party. It's all political smearing, and hemp's taking the worst of it. Because again, the whole article is really contrary to the true power of hemp. And what I really think is funny, once again, is that they're taking the one hemp item that if you go out on the street and you ask the average person, up until CBD came along, okay, you ask the average person, when I say hemp, what do you think of? 60 to 70% of those people, if they had heard of hemp, are going to say rope. They're going to say rope. And you know why they're going to say rope? Because the strongest ropes were made out of hemp for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years, if not thousands. The oldest, I think the more that I think about this, the more I have to laugh. The oldest evidence of hemp fiber is like 10,000 years old because they found remnants of the hemp rope that was wrapped around the piece of pottery. And again, I'm not saying I'm gonna, take that rope and tie it to my obstacle course and try to go down. But the rope lasted 10,000 years in the elements, enough that they could define what it was and they knew. And so it just kills me. And again, it breaks my heart because the headlines say rotting hemp ropes.
Yeah.
So that's what everybody's really going to read. And even if they read the article to the end, which pretty much sums up the article by blaming the current political party for this happening, they're gonna walk out with this negative idea of hemp fiber, and it's ridiculous. And so, they didn't say the company that installed and who got the contract to put these hemp ropes in. They're all going to get replaced with synthetic fiber now because of this one incident that this political, the political smearing. It's like up until that day, everything was going just fine. All those thousands of soldiers going down the hemp ropes doing their thing. And then one becomes almost untied. And now it's because of the hemp rotting rope that really inevitably is just political smearing because they're just pissed it was the other party that had this stuff installed or whatever. Just kills me. Oh, that's a bunch of stupid blaming hemp, blaming industrial hemp for another political party's insignificance or lack of investment in the military or something stupid. Anyway, that's the good one. Ha ha. We are seeing a study that showed that CBD does in fact cause HDL cholesterol to be significantly improved. What we're and they also brought up hemp seed, but this study was actually hemp seed oil or CBD that showed this somehow. But I think that, and they did also mention that hemp seed oil may be good for cholesterol as well. So I'm sure we're going to start seeing some more studies on that. Obviously, again, just proving that CBD is viable. All those parents in Wayne, Pennsylvania that take cholesterol medicine should just go into the local store and get themselves some CBD as well, instead of being outraged that this place is so close to the school. This is my I'm calling you out pick of the week. This honestly sweatshirt here. Okay, this is at the Kentucky's Best Hemp website, which makes CBD products. Okay, their shirt says honestly with an exclamation. Once again, Kentucky's Best Hemp website. Cotton and polyester blend. 100% not hemp. Honestly, Kentucky Hemp Best. Kentucky's Best. And see, it doesn't say Kentucky's Hemp Best honestly sweatshirt. It just says Kentucky's Best.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you make a hemp product, you put the word honestly, and it probably says Kentucky's Hemp Best Hemp on the back of it or something. I don't even know if it does or not. But you don't put any hemp in the sweatshirt. And again, this is my, and will always be, and has always been, my biggest industry pet peeve. You go out hawking your hemp product and you're wearing cotton or synthetic fiber or whatever. You put any, whatever your hemp product is, you put your name on there. Joe Bob's Hemp Billabongs. I don't know, whatever. And then you make your shirt out of cotton, which is the 100% opposite good thing to do. And most of the time it's not. Now, you use organic cotton, I'm going to give you a little bit of credit. Okay? I will be okay. I'll be okay with you using organic cotton. But using regular cotton, which is destroying the planet with the chemicals, and the whole reason that all fiber should be hemp fiber to begin with, to hawk your hemp product is counterintuitive to the whole process that we're trying to do. And I don't care what you're selling, CBD, shoes, lotion, it doesn't matter. If you have a hemp product and you are not using hemp in your marketing t-shirts or whatever, then that's just as far backwards as you are going forwards. I love that they got old Abe Lincoln on the picture with the Kentucky's Best Hemp as well. Old Abe probably actually had some hemp clothing back in the day. Growing up in Kentucky, I think he grew up in Kentucky. I know like 3 or 4 states claim Abraham Lincoln like as their child. Like where he was born, where he grew up, where he lived in a certain part of his life. Anyway, that's why Kentucky kind of claims part of Abe's life is because he spent a good part of it growing up, I believe, in Kentucky. And the old rumors we always heard was the oil that he was reading his books by and becoming educated by in Kentucky was hemp oil. Mm-hmm. Which only again would believe me to believe that old Abe Lincoln, Honest Abe, actually wore hemp clothing back in the day, growing up in Kentucky, where they don't grow cotton. Just so you know. Or if they do, and I shouldn't say they don't grow, there is very little cotton grown in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Pure and simple. And it's probably because all the runoff of all the chemicals you have to use to grow it. Anyway, no. Anyway, before all the chemicals, it was labor intensive, just like hemp too, because it's short fibers, not long fibers like hemp. That's why it's not as strong. statistically, we've seen 4 to 6 times stronger hemp is than cotton as well. So really what you're doing there, honestly, Kentucky's best hemp, is you're selling a 4 to 6 times less good product to your customers. I'm going to start saying it like that. I never thought of it like that to people, but so I'm going to start calling them out. What you're really doing is you're saying to your customers, I'm going to sell you something that's 4 to 6 times less good than what I could actually sell you.
Yep.
I've just given you a hemp sweatshirt. And there was a company in Winchester for a brief amount of time. I have a couple of their sweatshirts that were making hemp clothing. So I don't know if they still exist. It's hard to say, but they should be going full blown now. But this was, I think, before the legalization even, or right around possibly. So it's hard to say there. Now on to, I like to just read article titles, headlines, so to speak, because they just sound great. But this one is hemp is the hero ingredient for plant-based foods. Now you're thinking, well, that is great, plant-based foods. That's actually the name of a company, which is brilliant for a vegetarian, vegan food company. Planet-based foods. That's just a great way to, in my opinion, that's just a great thing. Hemp is the hero ingredient for planet-based foods. Period. But I'm gonna check out plant-based foods. I think I saw for sure that they have a burger. Once again, another vegetarian, vegan burger option using hemp, and see what other foods that they have. But that headline is just a generally great way to look at things, and it is also a very good way to describe this particular company that makes vegan, vegetarian foods using hemp as one of their ingredients, because it really is. And slowly but surely, I talk about it almost all the time on the show. If you put it in anything, it is the nutritional value that you're giving yourself is quite unbelievable. I still feel like a snake oil salesman as much as I talk about how nutritionally value hemp oil is, period. CBD is one thing, but the hemp oil itself is another. And so, there it is. More proof that we need hemp in all foods that we can put hemp in one way or another. Oh, not a whole lot of events going on here. We'll get you guys on your way. February 28th through March 1st, you have the 4th Annual Industrial Hemp Summit going virtual. Again, that's coming up here real soon. That's a virtual event. March 1 through 2, 1st through the 2nd, you have the Indigenous Hemp Conference. March 23rd through the 25th, NOCO in Denver is the big one. And there really isn't much going on. I will have to say, and I've talked about a couple events in Brooklyn, but if you live in Brooklyn, man, there's just like all kinds of stuff going on with CBD and hemp in Brooklyn for some reason. But anyway, all right, there you have it. Thanks, everybody, for watching the High Noon Hemp Show. Again, one of our record-long shows. Thanks for the fact that, I can put in my beach thoughts. I usually end the show with questions if you have them, or beach thoughts, but inevitably it always turns out that all of my beach thoughts happen during the show, and so I don't need to end the show with any more of them. We'll see you next week, and remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See y'all next week.